Hey, we called it. We're going to be reacting to the championship games, seeing what the Niners and the Bengals should be doing going forward. We're going to be breaking down the big news. Sean Payton is the coach of the Broncos. We'll talk Tom Brady slightly. And then we are going to be, since it's not Super Bowl week yet, we're going to be talking about having a Super Bowl party instead of making our picks. So, like we did last year, we're going to be breaking down Super Bowl foods, what you need to have at your Super Bowl party. Our biggest segment that we ever did. So hopefully this one lives up to the hype that last year set. All right, Connor, how are you doing?
I mean, you say that it's the biggest segment, but I would be shocked. We should be doing much better if that's the case. Super Bowl food, minus the fact that I think Ken and I had we almost had like an open fist fight last week. I was trying to fight him about pizza rolls or something. I honestly can't remember, but he said something. No, maybe it was you. It was definitely you, but there was something else with Ken. We were fighting.
Ken wasn't even here last week. That was my cousin Anthony. So
no. Last year for the Super Bowl.
Last year, got you. Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Ken had some bad food takes.
He had some bad food takes, and I can't remember what they were, but they'll be better now that he's gone.
All right, so let's get started. Eagles versus Niners was the opening game of the weekend. It was probably the most disappointing championship game we have ever had. We were excited. These teams were evenly matched going into the game. It's not like it was supposed to be one-sided, and it was what we expected. I thought the Niners were going to look great. I thought the Eagles were going to be a good team, and it'd be fun. Unfortunately, injuries prevented that from happening. No need to brush over it. If you're listening, you've definitely seen the game or have heard other takes. So we'll talk Eagles next week, how to go into the Super Bowl. But if you're the Niners, how do you approach your current quarterback situation, knowing now that Brock Purdy, he's not playing for 12 months maybe?
Well, two things. I think the actual reaction to the game is, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm shocked that he didn't do this. He's a smart, brilliant, young coach, whatever. His coaching tree is now getting head coaching positions. But listen, the moment that Brock Purdy says, hey, I can't go back in, and you go talk to the head athletic trainer, they know. I mean, I guarantee you it's like an ACL or an MCL or a serious injury enough to know, hey, the mechanism isn't working anymore. He probably tore his elbow. He's not going to be able to grip or throw a ball. Like, that wasn't a surprise. Meaning, I don't think he should have put him back in. I think he should have just said, hey, I'm going to take George Kittle, I'm going to take Deebo Samuel, and I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey, and even Brandon Ayuk to an extent, and I'm going to run Air Force's offense. I'm going to run the triple option. Listen, that's your best chance to even do anything. I get it. Christian McCaffrey's probably not used to running the read option. But all of these dudes have been playing football their whole life. Basic triple option, midline, read the center, read the end, read the nose tackle, whatever. Even if it's just speed option, think about it. These dudes are professional athletes and the best athletes in the world. Kyle Shanahan does a bunch of motions anyways. He was motioning them all over the place. If you say, hey, listen, I'm going to do triple option left, triple option right, CMC, read the end. Give it if he does this. Ayuk's coming on the other. I was shocked that they didn't do more of that. Hand the ball left, hand the ball right. Pitch the ball left, pitch the ball right.
They tried things, right? They were doing reverses, ends around. They had McCaffrey throw a pass, and you could tell it didn't go well because he chucked it, and it should have been intentional grounding. But the rest were like, we'll give you a benefit of a doubt.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, none of those were, like, read option, though. And if so, like, Purdy wasn't running. I mean, the option would be put McCaffrey back there and then run those guys and say, hey, split right, 42, Z option, something like that. Just do something. It wouldn't have mattered. They still would have gotten plastered. But I still think maybe it would have been a little bit lower scoring for the other team because you would have been able to get, like, I don't know. I'm totally speculating here, but that was my reaction. The other reaction is Trey Lance is going to be there going forward. came out this week. John Lynch said Jimmy G's not coming back. Can't see a situation that Jimmy G's coming back. Jimmy G's gone. So, I mean, as bad as it sounds, by default, you're probably going with Trey Lance again. So, a couple things to think about, though. Recency bias. If you keep Purdy and you're going to keep Purdy, nobody's going to trade for Mr. Irrelevant, at least right now.
Mr. Broken Elbow.
Mr. Broken Elbow. Mr. out all of next season. If I'm Trey Lance, though, I'm nervous because recency bias is going to be killer. He's going to have the same roster next year. Very, very similar. Yes, you'll have a different defensive coordinator, but your core, I don't think anybody, maybe Ayuk can walk. Everybody else is there. So guess what? Your immediate response is, Brock Purdy got us to the NFC or are they NFC?
The NFC champion, yep.
NFC championship. And also probably had a better chance to win it than I've given them at all. So, part of me is nervous because you'll keep Trey Lance. Like, I almost think, like, if you don't come out and you don't get to the playoffs next year at a minimum, you're going to get traded or you're going to be a backup. You're going to be a bust. You're going to get labeled a bust. So I think you got to roll with Trey. You got to see if Kyle can develop him. And if I'm Trey Lance, I better hope that I can ball out because otherwise Purdy's going to come back and that entire fan base is going to remember this year. This whole thing has an asterisk for them.
I think there's a big problem because Trey Lance does the opposite of Brock Purdy does, right? Where it's, I only throw big play passes. He runs the ball. Like, those are just the opposite of what Brock Purdy does, who's quick, short passes, doesn't want to move and doesn't want to hold the ball in the pocket, wants to get out of his hands, and Trey Lance is trying to make things happen. So if you come out and you don't make spectacular plays and wow, because like the offense didn't look great under Lance in his game and a half or 2 games of production. I mean,
they lost to the
Bears.
The Bears.
Yep. So I know
in
they
a
got recaptured
monsoon.
later.
In a monsoon, to be fair.
But like when he runs the ball, it should be better in that. Point aside, I'm just worried about what Trey Lance provides, and it's like Kyle Shanahan. We see what's successful in him. People who can throw the ball quickly and get to the right spot. You don't have to have a big arm. And Trey Lance does the exact opposite. He is not accurate. He is not a short throw. He is, watch this 50-yard bomb I'm about to hit and, swing a game open. Could be what they need to, like, change up their playbook. Maybe, we saw Kyle Shanahan do that offense with RG3 in Washington, where it was read option runs and deep passes. It worked really well for a year until RG3 blew out his knee. But we'll see. I am worried. And I don't know. They have to bring in someone new. I don't know, who do you get? Because you can't get a big name. You can't get. I don't know what you do at quarterback. You just hope Trey Lance is the answer for now, unless you trade him and try to replace him with something else, like a Derek Carr.
Because Kyle Shanahan will win regular season games. We've talked about this. No matter what, who's at quarterback, Kyle Shanahan will win games. Doesn't mean he'll win he'll go whatever it was 12-4, and then the last 13 games was 12-1. He's not going to do that. Not with Trey Lance, but he'll go whatever it is 10-7. He'll go 11-6 and make the playoffs because he'll outcoach somebody. So you'll win games. It will be a very similar situation to.
I just worry that you're looking at this roster and they are old in all the wrong spots. Their
front seven
core
is nice though.
It's good, but their linebackers are getting old. But linebackers age like dogs, dude. Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis retired at 29. So
Fred Warner though is the man.
He's 26. My point is you want to put your chips on the table. McCaffrey's 27. I know that you got 2 or 3 chances to win a Super Bowl next couple of years. Are you going to really risk it by saying we'll wait for Brock Purdy to come back 2 years from now? And we'll take a gamble on Trey Lance. And if neither of those work, then you just wasted, this time. But I don't know. I'm for sticking with Trey Lance. I think he can get it done as long as they switch up their offense. But if you're going to keep the same style, then you definitely, I think Derek Carr is probably like a guy that could fit in here. He doesn't like to throw the ball deep anyway.
So it's Trey Lance. I think there's no other option. Tom's off the table. Derek Carr's owed like $40 million. They don't have cap space. They just paid and moved a bunch they have no cap space. Debo's expensive. George is expensive. CMC's expensive. All them dudes are expensive. They don't have enough room to pay Derek Carr. Derek Carr is going to get a lucrative offer, and I think he is going to
I thought
Carolina.
Jimmy G was on like a $25 million deal. I forgot that he renewed to be a free agent this year.
Yeah, so they changed
or whatever. Yeah.
Sorry, Derek Carr's not going to Carolina. They're drafting a quarterback, but he's going to go to you watch
Tampa Bay.
Hot take. Derek Carr is. Wait, did you say Tampa Bay?
Hell yeah.
I hate you. I was going to say that. Clown. Anyways,
I thought the second Tom announced his retirement, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Or the Jameis return.
Derek Carr is. I think I told you, man. I'm telling you, I think I said this last week. Titans. He needs to go to the Titans. Malik Willis is not the answer, and that's. We talked about Anthony Richardson last week. We're talking about Malik Willis, the comp for him. And, our friend Evan talked about the worst, basically all the stats that you can have in college. Anthony Richardson.
Can you hit the broadside of a barn? And the answer is no.
And Malik Willis didn't have those stats, and he can't even get out behind Ryan Tannehill. Supposedly Ryan Tannehill's coming back. Congratulations. Average at best. Go get Derek Carr.
All right. So for the Niners, we agree. If they don't come up with a better answer than hope Trey Lance is the guy, I'm worried next year.
Why not? What can they do? Who? I mean, they can go out and get somebody at the trade. Sam Darnold. You want Sam Darnold? Is that who you want?
No, but I want a guy that can get us to the Super Bowl. I want Jimmy G.
Bridges burned.
I know.
Burn the boats.
I'm well aware. I'm just saying.
Burn the boats.
So fingers crossed that Trey Lance turns into Jalen Hurts is all I'm hearing. Even though rumors were that the Carolina's GM might be looking to go scoop him up. They hired someone from the Niners front office, and he responded with a please prayer hands kind of thing on Instagram. So everyone thought it was bang, bang. Look at that. He's, asking his way out because Brock Purdy's playing well. Of course, elbow injuries change everything.
Yeah.
All right. So for now, let's move on. Chiefs versus Bengals. What was your thoughts and reactions there?
Nothing that anybody hasn't already said. Anybody who's paying attention, anybody who hasn't lived under a rock knows that. Okay, how about this? I'll give you a take that says, okay, I feel bad for the kid that gave them an extra 15 yards and guaranteed them a chance to go to the Super Bowl, Joseph Asai. However, both that can be true and the fact that can't happen, right? So both of those can be true. You can hate him and feel bad for him at the same time. It is okay. I think that's a very plausible reaction. But Joseph Asai is a high motor guy, meaning he's not like Joey Bosa. He's not like Nick Bosa. He's not like, the Hassan Haskins. He's not like a finesse premier edge rusher. He's just a high throttle, high effort dude. You can make the argument that dude was just giving effort. You watch him. He's trying to run Patrick Mahomes down to try and push him out of bounds. That being said, know who you're going after. Patrick Mahomes slowed up on purpose. Then he kind of once he hit out of bounds, slowed up, and then he kind of threw the ball up in the air and did one of these. Just kind of, and then fell face first, like to not have his feet go underneath him. You have to know that he's going to do that. That dude flails. I mean, he's just like any other quarterback.
I mean, that's what a good quarterback should do, is try to get those 15 yards.
I agree. I get it. But I'm just saying, I feel bad for him, but it can't happen. And it is what it is. But, I was shocked. I didn't know much about the whole situation with the refs. People get mad about that. Like the whole refs thing with giving them an extra third down, and they go through the third down, they don't get it. It's fourth down, they're about to punt, and then they turn around and put it back on the field, and they get it. With Eli Apple, our boy Eli Apple, giving up a pass interference on 3rd and 15, like a clown. I mean, yeah, all of those things are kind of like gray area where they probably letter of the law, but yeah, that's like the same thing about play clock going to 0, and then you're supposed to give them a step, like a look down and then a look up, and if they've snapped the ball, you don't call it. Gray area. Timeouts, same thing. All right, so multiple times, including the college football semifinal with Georgia and Ohio State. Ohio State runs a fake punt, and then they get it, and then supposedly, the Kirby Smart calls a timeout, and just in the nick of time when they actually did the slow-mo replay of it, and he wasn't actually on time. But again, gray area, because you pretty much say, all right, I'm looking over at you, and then I'm looking over at the ball, and you called a timeout. All of those things can be called refs, and if a ref didn't call it, you're probably not going to get upset. Game may look different. But Joe Burrow, guess what? Had a really bad pick in the first half. Zach Taylor forgot T. Higgins was on his team for basically the first quarter and a half. Then in the 2-minute drill, all of a sudden he starts launching it downfield. T. Higgins gets to the 4, and I thought this was a terrible play call. Rushes it, throws a crappy jump ball rather than spike it.
Well, before the T. Higgins mossing play, they threw a 10-yard slant and called timeout.
Yeah.
Like, if there is a play that you can get to the line on, it's a 10-yard slant. Everyone is right there already.
Yeah. So we've talked about it all year. Zach Taylor's going to make a couple of bad decisions that are going to ruin the game. They didn't get 7 on that. They got 3, and they've counted that as a win. And guess what? You lost by 3. So game-changing, Super Bowl-changing calls. So that's my response.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Chris Jones, guy I hyped up before the game, actually showed up and completely was just a menace on the Bengals offensive line. Of course.
How could I forget about their crappy offensive line?
With the Bengals missing their entire right side, I think, was out.
Just so bad.
But yeah, I'm glad that was a good game. I don't know if the Chiefs were, I can say they're a better team. I'm glad that it was like a 50-50 game, and that's what it should have been. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I wish health didn't affect both teams so much, because the Chiefs were down to like Marquez Valdes-Scantling and friends, and if he's your number one, he was killing it.
Big surprise, Tony got hurt again.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Did you see the move he got hurt on? The reason he gets hurt is he puts so much force on his ankles and knees.
So I get it. Like, I get that he's a herky-jerky, like he is a crazy backyard football style player. But if you think about guys and Saquon, like in his second and third year, was like this too. Home run hitter every play. Dance in the hole, cut 6 times, go backwards 6 yards, and then get tackled. Tony is the same way. And, I mean, the jig is up. Like, guys are just going to rally around him, and then you're going to watch you hurt yourself, and then you're going to be out. Like, this is the NFL. This isn't backyard football. Think about it. The best athlete maybe ever to enter I shouldn't say that. One of the best athletes to ever enter the NFL, Reggie Bush, was a good, not great player. Seriously, you're talking about probably the greatest college football highlight film probably ever. One of them, if not the best. Dude was making people look stupid. He didn't do that in the NFL. Tony needs to learn that too. Saquon's starting to learn it. He crushed it this year. But you got to think, these are the best athletes in the world at their sport. Fred Warner is on the other side. We talked about him already. Yeah, that dude will light you up, and he won't fake out for anything. So I'm digressing a little bit. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but good God. Like, some of these guys just, they got to know that they can't do everything that they did in college. Period.
So I guess looking at the teams now, though, and like the Bengals, I wonder if this was their best chance, because now Joe Burrow is going to get his $300 million payday or whatever he's going to get. After that, Jamar Chase is going to get his paycheck. And Joe Mixon might be going to jail. Did you see that?
Yeah. All right. Now, no offense, though, but Joe Mixon
an hour ago.
Joe Mixon is replaceable.
He entered the league on questionable circumstances.
Yeah, he's replaceable. He potentially is going to get cut, and I just saw the cap hit that they take. He's a good guy to cut too. He's definitely cut eligible.
I was about to say, him getting cut actually might open up money for T. Higgins.
That's what I'm saying. That might be a good thing. And RBs, dude. RBs are the most replaceable, or one of the most replaceable things in the NFL. I don't know where they are in the draft order, but probably, middle bottom. Sure, they're not going to take a running back in the first round, but a lot of guys, couple guys to watch. Let's say you take a guy like Tyjae Spears, who is a Tulane running back, who's picking up a lot of steam in the Senior Bowl. You've got a ton of even the top end running backs. Yeah, Bijan Robinson's going to be the first running back taken overall. Fine. But you've got guys like Kendry Miller, Zach Evans, Sean Tucker, Tyjae Spears. I mean, this running back class is loaded. You might as well. This is cut him. Get rid of him.
So, yeah. But anyways, if you can free up money for T. Higgins, I think that will save your chances. But again, you got people that need to get paid. And the Chiefs, they already paid Mahomes. Kelsey got his money, kind of. And like, he's phasing out, right? He's 34, 35. He's probably not going to get another big contract. So they at least are in a position to.
Dude, that dude is 34, and the crazy stats for fantasy football.
1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. Whatever.
The next closest was like 400 or 500 yards behind him. So, I mean.
Yeah. But like, I'm just saying, they have money, draft capital to all reload and restock this roster. It's just getting to the point where I wonder how teams are going to start matching up with them, with the Chiefs going forward. They have a lot of things they need to fill, but if they're AFC Championship, Super Bowl caliber already, and then you're giving them, I don't know if they have multiple first rounders, but they got the Tyreek first rounder for next year. They have their first rounder and all that. So
they have a late first this year. I've seen some mock drafts of them getting a running back too. I've seen some mocks where they
just get them in the third. Just get them in the third. Look at the top running backs taken now and the ones you can get in the third. Give them a shot late, and I would be
fair.
happy.
This class is loaded, but seriously, if Bijan drops to them,
you take that?
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, he's not dropping. The Giants are out there. No, or a team like the Giants. Sorry,
dude. I'm telling you, man. Like, he is an elite. Actually, his comp is Saquon Barkley. He's that kind of elite type of prospect, which is kind of ironic. Like, they're talking about him in the same vein as Saquon. Saquon went 4 or whatever it was, or 2 or whatever
2.
It was.
He went 2.
Yeah, nobody's doing that in this day and age, but he might sneak into the first round, late first, somewhere.
I think he ends. He's probably going to end. I'd say top 16 is my guess.
You think top half? Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah. I think way too many quarterbacks are going to go early. So I think 2 should go early, and the other 2 will.
Man, I hope not.
As long as they put up good pro days, or at least something good enough.
Man, I wish we would do a segment on like failed, hype up pro days. Good God. Zach Wilson would be like A1A.
Come on. No, Jamarcus Russell. On his knee, throwing 50 yards, and then coming out and just not doing anything with his career.
Putting a piece of bologna in his DVD tapes to watch, and then he doesn't even pay attention. Yeah, did you watch that? Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a piece of ham, you moron. We put it in your DVD to take home.
Oh my gosh, that's funny because I guess what is it? The movie Draft Day, right? With the Browns.
Yeah,
they're talking about drafting a quarterback who everyone thinks is not good, and the Browns take him, and it's garbage. But anyways, they end up. They're like, yeah, everyone. They send out playbooks to people, and they staple a $100 bill to the back of the playbook. And you ask them about the playbook, and it's like, oh, they didn't look through it because they didn't take the $100 bill.
Yeah.
So things like that. All right. Anyways, that's enough about teams that are losers and aren't here anymore. Let's go on to teams that want to get here next year. Sean Payton going to the Broncos. I'm actually really excited about this. How do you feel?
Well, like I said, recency bias. I keep saying that. Dude, it's going to be the same thing except for bitter taste in your mouth for the Denver Broncos. Everyone's already talking about how Russell's career is beyond saving. And, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased too because I drafted him fairly high in a 2 QB league. And I was like, oh, cool. Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. I got 2, set and forget type of quarterbacks, and both of them were kind of questionable at times this year, especially the whole year for Russ. I think it's going to have to be Sean Payton had Drew Brees the entire time that he was there. Okay. You have such consistency. You know what you get with him. I think there's going to be, it is not a perfect marriage out the gate. You just hope that you can change it up because guess what? They gave up 3 firsts for these dudes. So pretty much they are, no matter what happens, they're making their bed with those 2. There's no other way around it because Sean Payton has, I think they're giving him $20 million a year. They gave both of them are going to be huge. I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about a coach. I understand the quarterback, but we're talking about a coach that potentially has a huge, the largest cap hit probably across the league. So, like I said, they're making their bed with these 2. I think it's going to get bumpy early, and then I'll see if they rebound. I'm not thinking it's a perfect marriage. I hope it is, especially for that dynasty league. I hope so. But
in terms of compensation, I'm pretty sure that they are at 3 first.
Yeah, 3 first
seconds.
Yeah.
3 players. And then between the 2 of these guys, $350 million invested into winning.
I mean, you're going all in, but you have to think that you have the rest of the roster. And I don't believe that they do. I mean, they might on defense. They've got a top 3 corner. They've got, if he can come back, they've got Javonte Williams to come back and be a premier running back. I wouldn't be surprised if they go get someone though. I mean, you do that if you're like the 49ers. Your roster's there. You need one additional thing. Go get CMC. This I'm not sure about. Now, Hackett was probably one of the historically worst offensive coaches ever and somehow ended up on the Jets. Woohoo, go Jets. But
hashtag we want Aaron Rodgers.
Side note, that's crazy. That's something completely different. That was totally a Aaron Rodgers play. I that's like going back and getting Urban Meyer. Hey, Urban Meyer, remember what you did? Like that one time you sucked and you only lasted 12 games and then you groped a 15-year-old. Kidding. Groped an 18-year-old, a 21-year-old, whatever it is. And here we are. Hackett gets a job less than a month. I don't know, man. I have no idea.
So I mean, I don't think there was ever like Urban Meyer is the only one that's been remotely close to me in terms of how bad Nathaniel Hackett was as a head coach. Like, I think there was completely just no accountability, no structure, no organization to the way he was running the Broncos or something. That team did not seem buttoned up anywhere except for defense. And their defensive coordinator, I forget his name, he's fantastic, and he was doing a great job with everyone.
It's not Vic Fangio, right? It was.
It's not Vic Fangio. This guy's,
is it Vance Joseph?
No. He's a first-year guy because I looked him up and I said this guy should be Ejiro Evero.
That's who it is. I told you, man. Ejiro Evero is. I didn't know he was defensive coordinator. I thought he was assistant defensive coordinator, but he is in the running. That dude should probably be a head coach somewhere too, and he's still in the running for the Fighting Jeff Saturdays, and we'll see what happens. But he should definitely get that job over Jeff Saturday, 100%.
But I really think Sean Payton's going to come in with a game plan that is just so much better than anything that was put together by Nathaniel Hackett, that this team's actually going to work and function. And I also think Sean Payton always had a good offensive line, or he protected his offensive line with his game planning and scheming. So I think that's going to fix that. I don't know. I agree. Sean Payton.
Don't get me wrong. I think it will work, but I also think it has to work because they have so much money behind it that even if they struggle out the gate, they're going to say, well, we got to turn it around somehow.
Well, so now, but here's my catch with this. I don't see a world where they're better than the third best team in their division. Yeah. I don't think the Chargers having Kellen Moore now. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with them offensively. Justin Herbert, like Russell Wilson, maybe 4 years ago could have had a shootout against him. I don't think he's going to have that next year. And then you have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs still. So, like, it's just so sad that if these guys were in probably 6 other divisions, I think they're, fighting for the top spot. But unfortunately, they are in the AFC West. They're doing their best to make it work. And it's just unfortunate that you have 2 top 4 quarterbacks that you're going to be competing with twice 2 games every year. I like this move. What do you think about it?
He's just got to get an offensive coordinator. I mean, his defense will be fine. They've got a number 1 corner potentially. There's a chance. I'm seeing them draft another 1 corner. I've seen Kelly Ringo out there, which is Georgia's corner, top corner in the league or in college football, one of them. I think he does draft defense, but
you don't think they get Bryce Young / CJ Stroud?
They have 2 firsts. I should say
the
automatic pick was Bryce Young. First one is going to be Bryce Young. Second one is going to be, I think, Keely Ringo. So that was what most recent mocks are. They're going to go 1 offense, 1 defense, which is fine. Another interesting scenario here is they have, what's his name? The dude, the left tackle, the highest paid left tackle, the dude that got busted for smoking weed like 4 years ago.
He had a gas mask on. Laramie Tunsil.
Laramie Tunsil. He wants to be the highest paid tackle. I'm like, am I missing something here? You don't hear about left tackles making tons of plays, and I get that you're not supposed to, but like, I know like 3 other left tackles names before this dude. Why are we talking about this guy wanting to be the number 1 highest paid left tackle? Is he that good? I don't know. Be interesting to see what Demeco Ryans does with it, though. Is he going to pay him? Maybe. Is Pierce going to continue to be Pierce? I don't know. But it's a clean slate for Demeco Ryans. I think that's the best situation.
Yeah, I think. So we talk a lot about offensive guys trying. They're the ones you need to win Super Bowls now. It's just the bottom line. I think, and 2 weeks ago, 7 of the last 8 coaches were all offensive, and the one was Sean McDermott, who I think everyone agrees Buffalo's like an underachieving team that wins 13 games a year somehow, or they underwhelm for what they can do at least. But the reason I like Ryans is because they need some kind of culture and they need some kind of, just structure and scheme to lean on. Like when you look at them as a team, and just, accountability for the young guys that they're going to be bringing in, trying to fill out this roster. And I think Demeco Ryans is going to give that to them. And I think Demeco Ryans is going to be a great guy to get them going from, what are they, 3-14 this year? He'll work them up to like a team that goes 7-10 to like 9-8 for 3 or 4 years. He'll get fired, and then the offensive guy will come in to save it. But I think he's like just that guy, unless he can truly be like a Vrabel, who is a defensive-minded, kind of a rah-rah, structure guy over scheme guy. If he can prove to do that, then he should stick around. But it's hard for me to say anyone's going to have that level of impact. I mean, Vrabel's the only one we see doing it, and Dan Campbell's like another similar one that does it. But at least you haven't seen that team have great success, sustained success. They are at their first year of success now.
Yeah, but Dan Campbell got the offensive coordinator right.
That's true. And we'll see how long he stays there. He is staying this year because he knew everyone else.
Fine.
The coaching job sucked.
The opposite situation is the Dallas Cowboys, who Dan Quinn came back and they were like, yeah, it's our offense's fault. Get rid of him. Give the coaching offensive play calling duties out of Kellen Moore's hand and give him to Mike McCarthy. It's
just so funny to me how fragile, right? Because Kellen Moore, Byron Leftwich were two like head coaching candidates getting interviewed everywhere, and they didn't take any jobs. And now
somebody has to be the fall guy. Somebody has to be the fall guy. And I'm sorry, Tom Brady was not that good last year. I mean, he's the number one. He's the GOAT. It's not even close. He wasn't that good last year. Watch any game. I get it. He had an offensive line that was bad. So did the Bengals.
Well, it's like in Tampa Bay, you're not going to blame Todd Bowles for a bad offense, right? Because he's not the offensive guy. But the way they ran their offense is his responsibility. And by that, I mean, they weren't aggressive. When Bruce Arians was there, they had no problem being aggressive nonstop. With Todd Bowles, you could see there was a more conservative style. It was the 1st and 10. We're going to run it for 2 yards and pray that Tom can throw us out of the hole.
Arians is like a consultant for them, though, still, which is weird.
That means I have a contract and you're not getting rid of me and I want my money. So I'm going to sit upstairs from 10 to 3, and go home every day.
That's probably true.
But yeah, no, I really think that in-game management and how they just approached, down to down and drive to drive, that was just Todd Bowles, erring on the side of caution too much, instead of being like, hey, it's the second quarter, it's a close game. Do something creative on offense, be aggressive, take a play action deep pass on 1st and 10, try to catch him off guard or something. Anyways, I love Demeco Ryans to the Texans, a team that is completely strapped or just ripped apart to the studs right now. And I can't wait to see what happens. They're going to be I'll be rooting for them like the Jags in 2 years, probably, once they get a quarterback and some functional players.
That's probably about right. That's probably a good comp. But they got to hit. Bryce Young has to hit.
I want CJ Stroud. He's my number one quarterback. Give me 6'3", 220 over 5'11", 150 soaking wet.
I probably will take Bryce Young.
Yeah, I'm well aware that the logic here is that Bryce Young is a better quarterback in terms of everything you want. Processing information, throwing on time, not
about that. But he's all the soft skills, but he's also the game is changing. Standard pocket passing is not the way anymore. And I would rather take the upside of a Russell Wilson. I would rather take that.
I would rather take the upside of a CJ Stroud and hope that it's like, hey, Justin Fields could run, but wait, just listen. Dude. Justin Fields was not known to be a Lamar Jackson-esque runner in college.
You're crazy. You didn't watch the Buckeyes. You're crazy. Listen, there's a huge difference between super athlete, because Justin Fields was a super athlete,
Agreed.
and a Lamar Jackson-esque runner is like juke, 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 zoom.
All right. All I'm saying is he broke Lamar Jackson's rushing record.
Fine.
I don't see C.J. Stroud doing that, but I see him being as athletic as Justin Herbert.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he's going to run a 4.7.
And that can get it done.
He's going to run a 4.7. But
yeah, so why would you not like? I would rather have that with the prototypical size that you can build a conventional offense around, rather than Bryce Young, who I have to retrofit my offense because I can't use in between the.
Fantastic! Go find somebody in your offensive coordinator search and say, "Hey, we're drafting Bryce Young. Build an offense around him."
Broncos did that with Nathaniel Hackett.
I can't believe you just said that. They said, "Hey, was it you or Aaron Rodgers?" He said, "It was me." And then they were like, "Cool, yeah, we believe you. Here's a bunch of money." Oh, we were wrong. See you in 15
Anyways,
games.
So do you think... So Cliff Kingsbury experiment didn't work with Kyler Murray, right? I'm not saying they should hire him. All I'm saying is, was it entirely Cliff Kingsbury's fault?
No, Kyler Murray's just a complete dodo head. And, I mean, seriously, he's the most they're having, the report came out today. They can't get a head coach because they don't want to be tied at the hip to Kyler Murray. They don't want to deal with him.
So all I'm saying is these small quarterbacks keep coming in, and it's like once one thing goes wrong with them, it breaks down. Tua can't walk without breaking his head.
Time out. Here's the other thing. Kyler Murray, if you go back to, ironically, one of my best friends from high school is from Texas, and Kyler Murray has been doing this with his dad for since he was a freshman in high school, dictating whatever the high school. He transferred in high school, he transferred in college until he got what he wanted, and it's continued. You let somebody like that do. Bryce Young is not like that. Bryce Young is not that dude. So I think
Tua is not that dude.
Tua is not that fine. Tua is not that dude. But here's the other thing about Tua. Tua finally got what you just said. A coach that said, I'm going to build my offense around what you're good at. I'm not going to try and fit you into my system. I'm going to make your system my system. And then he said, we're really good. Side note, he has a bajillion concussions and he has a mush brain. But if he's healthy, you're playing him and he's going to be a stud. So.
Okay. So we have. Wait, did you say Tua's going to be a stud?
Could be. Maybe. Don't get. You're missing the point.
I'm just saying, Mr. Noodle Arm over here.
He is Noodle Arm.
Nonstop.
He is Noodle Arm. He has a new route that his wide receivers run. It's called a post drag backwards.
Comeback?
Just come back backwards. A post
the classic 30-yard post hitch.
Yeah, the post hitch.
On the other side, when you have a guy that at least has prototypical tools and size, you have so many more options for when things get taken away from your offense that you can make other things work.
How many years did RG3 get in a chance? How many times did RG3 get a second chance where they were like, man, this dude's upside is crazy. I don't care if he blew out his knee and is bone on bone. Why? GMs will. Why are we talking about Anthony Richardson? Because his upside is so big. There is more upside with an athletic, non-prototypical quarterback in today's day and age. That's why people put up with Kyler. Why do you think Kyler's able to dictate whatever he wants?
You use the word upside. I think these guys are coming in and giving you a B plus starter, a B plus to A minus starter, but they don't have upside, is what I'm saying. They don't have Herbert, Burrow, Allen upside.
Okay, timeout. You don't think that none of these guys are Mahomes? None of them are Mahomes. But you don't think that escapability, and you don't think that because Herbert can't escape like Mahomes can. Bryce Young can escape like Mahomes can. Bryce Young, Kyler can escape like Mahomes can. CJ Stroud, minus the Georgia game, can't escape like Bryce Young can.
But they can't hit the middle of the field like Mahomes can. Mahomes has the benefit of being able to play all aspects of everything. He doesn't count. He's like a cheat code. Okay? Josh Allen kind of is too, where it's just like these guys are physical freaks. They can do things other people can't. What I'm saying is Justin Herbert's mobility is limited, yes. But at least he can spread the ball and put it anywhere he needs to, like on a rope. These guys, they need to break the pocket to make their throwing lanes and to be able to see what's happening. I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking.
I say so yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no.
So
they do need
to break the pocket.
Fine.
My point is when, like, we keep seeing short quarterbacks coming in and being drafted very early and high. I'm going to kill my dog, and I'm sorry. But we keep seeing, and what, like, once things start to fall apart around them, it just looks so bad. Tua concussions, team completely, like, his concussion, once the issue started stacking, it just everything went south for the Dolphins. And also, when it got cold, because he has a noodle arm, everything went south too, and I said that.
Bryce doesn't have a noodle arm, okay?
Okay, that's good for him. I still worry about his health and ability to see, but also, Kyler, small ding, and he can't do anything. Baker Mayfield looks solid, and then teams were like, hey, you can't play, like, you can't do, what's it called? Like backyard football and make it work all the time.
Yeah, I think the crazy stat was like nobody since like 2000 has been like a legitimate starter under like 6 foot, something like that. Legitimate being the key word or something like that. Something crazy. Mm-hmm. So like the last 20 plus years, nobody under like 5'10" has even started more than like 3 years or something crazy like that. I mean, okay. I get it, but I
all this, and I'll finish on this note. I think we're going to have quarterbacks go 1 and 2 in this draft. I just think they should go CJ Stroud, then Bryce Young. I'm not saying CJ Stroud is miles ahead, but I am just saying I think he has a more, like, I hate the words like floor and ceiling because it depends what level you're talking about. But if they are both starters, I think you can get more routine quality production given that he's a quality starter in the league from CJ Stroud than you can from Bryce Young.
Doesn't matter. Neither of them are going first. Colts are doing something really stupid, and they're going to trade their draft picks and pick up Will Levis. So, Jim Irsay.
Don't tell
Jim
me
Irsay
that.
Special. I'm serious.
I don't believe
Mel
you.
Kiper thinks Mel Kiper thinks it's possible that Indy takes someone other than Will Levis or than Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and he thinks it's going to be Will Levis.
We don't know anything. Do you know why we don't know anything? Because you can't predict stupid.
Jim Irsay is pretty dumb.
All right. We're at 50 minutes of talking about this, and none of this is going to happen until CJ Stroud proves you wrong and that he is the second Ohio State quarterback to be a true franchise guy.
I'm not putting money on it, but I'm also not agreeing with you. Let's put it that way.
That's fair.
I actually think that they will both be legitimate long-time starters. I just don't know who will be quote-unquote better. And I like having an athlete at quarterback. CJ Stroud, in my opinion, is more pro-ready than Justin Fields was. If that's
absolutely.
Something. If that's something.
All right. Let's talk Super Bowl food. Okay, what really matters. This is why you watch football.
Save this. We could save this for next week. We could let the viewers wait on it.
Okay, you win. We're gonna leave this floating out there.
And because you have to go get your doggy.
I don't need to get her. The thing is, there's a dog outside, and she wants to eat the other dog. She is a 20-pound Chihuahua, and she likes to try to eat, the big neighbor dogs that are like 70, 80 pounds.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yes, Chihuahua Beagle. Very feisty, very loud.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. That could be the key word. Chihuahua Beagle. Blow it. We're going to blow it up. Mine is an Australian Shepherd Poodle mix. 50 pounds. Scared of everything. It is what it is.
We should put these two in a room together and watch my dog howl at yours until it runs and hides.
Scare mine. And scare mine.
All right, fine. You win. We'll talk Super Bowl food next week when we have a third person here to decide on our tiebreakers, and so that you can just go and
we need time. Ken. We need Ken.
I'll yell at him and I'll tell him, be here or don't.
Be here because we need you to. We need a punching bag to talk about bad Super Bowl foods. Because we know you'll bring them up. We know he'll bring them up.
Last year was the famous taquitos. This year I got a new one that I can't wait to drop on people.
I think he's going to say something stupid like beanie weenies or something.
Don't be ridiculous. It's another ethnic food that is pretty much similar to taquitos, but is just slightly different.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Cliffhanger.
All right. We're good.